Ouch, ouch, kitty cat. Ouch, 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 kitty cat. Ouch, 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 kitty cat. She wants to use me as a pincushion.
Well, welcome to Mostly Fictional Tales. Here we have today my really good friend, Tim Ramirez, a very accomplished guitar player. This man has delighted my ears for the last 30 years. I am not ashamed to say that. The last 30 years. What do you say about that, Tim? What do you say?
I'll have your check in the mail. You said that exactly the way I prompted you to say it. So yes, your check's in the mail.
Yeah, not only
really appreciate that.
Well, you know what? This just proves I will do stuff for money.
Oh, indeed. Won't we all?
All right. So here on Mostly Fictional Tales, this is a conversation show in which we have just kind of fun, playful banter back and forth. Sometimes it's about a specific tale that my guest has to tell me. Other times it's just their thoughts and on a particular topic, and I hope to bring you something that delights you. What do you say to that, Tim?
It sounds like a good plan.
All right. Well,
what do you want to talk about today, though? I'm just curious.
Well, we can talk about. I think I would like to talk about the Barbie movie.
I'll put that into context for anyone that's listening. When you first asked me if I wanted to be on your podcast, I said, sure, let's do it. And you said, what do you want to talk about? And of course, the Barbie movie was very much like a thing that was you were hearing about everywhere. So I thought I would respond with a funny answer. And I said, okay, I texted back to you, Margot Robbie, then space. Then I said, The Disillusionments of Life, space, Margot Robbie, space, What It's Like to Be an Independent Musician, space, Margot Robbie, space.
Well,
and then I wrote something about, the trials and tribulations of being a YouTube content creator, space, Margot Robbie. And I just thought that would be a funny response.
I do believe we hear call from the audience for certain topics of Margot Robbie. So let's go ahead and we use the tools of technology to dream the dreams that only androids could have of electric sheep.
Speaking of androids, speaking of electric sheep, one topic that I know I mentioned that we could talk about is just AI and what we both think is going to happen with it. You play around quite a bit with AI art on Midjourney. I've seen you've published a lot of work. There's AI art that you've created of me.
I wanted to see you in an orange tux.
That's fine. This is all cool, but you created all this AI art.
In fact, like this particular one right here, Tim.
Let's talk about this here, because AI is kind of this this very important thing that is happening right now with art, with film, with writing, with music. And I think it's it's happening very fast. And
here's the thing, Tim, much faster than I would have thought. Now, however, the speed by which the AI is developing these tools is astounding to me. It's way faster. I had looked into AI art maybe about 14 months ago at this point. It's as we're recording this, it's August of 2023, and I was thoroughly unimpressed by anything that was computer generated. Sure, things look solid, but there was complete dissonance, mental dissonance, just the discombobulation of the images are just bonkers. But last December, Tim, my friend Carrie had shown me a tranche of artwork that she had selected from a batch of AI artwork that had done avatars for her in an app that she just fed it a couple bucks and it turned her into AI art. And I thought it was stop the show. Stop the show. I wanted to drop an F-bomb. I think I will save my F-bombs for later. But I was impressed, Tim.
I hear where you're coming from. I've been impressed with a lot of what I've seen on the internet. I've just watched YouTube videos of AI art people have created. I have looked at AI art online. I have played with a few programs on my own just to see what can be created.
Yeah.
And there is this big question. People keep saying, is it art? Does it qualify as art? Because a human hand wasn't involved. It's just being done with prompts.
That's a really great question.
What do you think of that?
Really great question.
What are your thoughts on that, Ken?
And you and I actually haven't really dove into this, off camera, have we?
No, we have not. That's why I want to ask you first.
You're because
so what are your thoughts?
I have thought long and hard about this, and I am absolutely convinced that images that make people feel emotion is what art does. It merely, the tools that you use to arrive at that is the human part of that. So it doesn't matter what tool you use to arrive at something that moved somebody, that made them stop and catch their breath, that made them say, wow, that's cool. There seems to be this notion in a lot of folks' heads that the worth of something comes directly from the amount of, or the liters, LITERS, the liters of sweat that can come off of somebody is the only way to measure how good that thing was. What's your opinion of the work of Jackson Pollock?
I've never really explored his art in any great detail, so I wouldn't say.
Do you have an idea of what I'm talking about when I'm mentioning that?
Just vaguely.
He's famous for the drip paintings.
Okay, I've heard of him before. Yeah, I've seen his art before. Yeah, it doesn't appeal to me, but that doesn't mean it's not good.
It appeals to somebody. It does. Not me. But somebody.
Me, but if you like it, if that's your jam, great. I'm happy for you.
All right, so images that make people feel, emotions is what art does. But the tools that you use to get to that art, that you really do need to be honest about what you're using. So if you are using an AI art generator, you have to be way upfront about it. Your prompt, whatever you use the words and the order, I think the correct stance is that it's not copyrightable. It shouldn't be. I mean, because there is a difference between you dreaming this thing up from the ground up and having invested a significant amount of your life in. But too many people have this idea that they can that they can turn an hour of their work into 10,000 hours of resales, because that's what Microsoft does. That's what Twitter does. They seem to try to create value where there was none. They've got this expectation that they can, just like Disney, extend their copyrights on Mickey Mouse into perpetuity. At some point, something's got to go into the goddamn public domain.
Well, it's ironic when you mention Disney, because Disney made their fortunes to a certain extent off public domain stories. The majority of their classic animated features were based on public domain stories.
I agree, but I'd like to unfortunately sing a little defense here for Disney. Is that those stories, while the basic idea, Joseph Campbell and the 7 stories, that there are only 7 stories according to Joseph Campbell, right? That it's basically, if you simplify everything enough, then nobody's ever created anything new. Thank you very much. You've proved yourself. You've made an excellent point. Oh my God! I think you see where I'm what I'm laying down here.
Oh, yes, absolutely. The thing you have to realize, though, is that Disney does their own version of these fairy tales. They have every right to copyright their version of the. That's why it's Walt Disney Snow White, not Snow White. Anybody else can do a Snow White story, but even if a character like Mickey Mouse, if that character were to fall into public domain, certain cartoons are falling into public domain, but the character is trademarked, which means that lasts a lot longer than the copyright.
Yeah.
So it's creating a weird slippery slope in regards to all of that. Yeah. And I don't claim to be knowledgeable enough to really discuss the fine details of it.
Yeah.
But
I think where you were, like, I think I may have heard you say this in one of your videos, Tim, because you, of course, are a content creator yourself. And if anybody is watching Mostly Fictional Tales, I invite you to check out Tim's channel and check out his wide-ranging discussions of topics that are completely benign and family-friendly. How's that for a plug? Have I adequately laid it on here for you, Tim?
Well, we should also mention it's youtube.com. /TJR the original.
You know what we should do? We should just pull it up on the thing here. We're going to YouTube.
There's my little logo.
There it is. Oh my gosh, it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Okay. Well, enough of that. But let's talk about what we were talking about, which is about AI art.
AI art.
Topic at hand here.
I had watched your video on the Yellow Submarine and AI.
Oh yeah, that was just a little sidestep. I'm working on a video regarding the film Yellow Submarine, but prior to that, I had made a video about what I thought AI could mean for music, what I thought it could mean for other aspects of the arts, such as film, such as art, such as writing, all of that.
Sure.
And I gave a little just a little video I say about what I thought could happen. And in the same way that we see you having the ability to type in some text prompts, get some artwork. And I said that, in the future, I feel that the people who will create the best AI art will be those who really know, who are savvy with how to combine their text prompts. And I also said that I could see a time, we're not there yet, but I could see a time where I could say, okay, I want a song in the style of the Beatles. Paul McCartney doing lead guitar and bass, George Harrison playing rhythm guitar. I could name specifics. I want the song to follow a instrumental introduction that builds in this manner. And I gave a long, detailed description of what I thought a prompt could look like. They would create a song with a title, with lyrics focusing on a certain theme. And I gave some really specific instructions on what I thought that could sound like.
Yeah. And
you will get a song back. Now, maybe it will be great. Maybe it will be terrible, but you would get a song back at some point. And as time goes on, I said this could get better and better. Yeah. And I kept making comparisons to what I was seeing with AI art. Okay. And I was seeing a lot of YouTube channels that were publishing their own sort of like AI art slideshows for imaginary films that they pictured. Like one of them was like, it's Blade Runner, the movie Blade Runner, but made in 1922 by Fritz Lang.
Yeah,
and what that would look like.
I absolutely love that as a thought experiment, and that the ability for somebody to be able to pull open that. I mean, I put your image in a preset for cowboys. Basically, I call it my romantic lonesome dove prompt. It's a recipe, and it produces what you saw what you're seeing up in front of you right now. I mean, this has your kind of your sense of I see you kind of baked into this image, but then the sunset and the everything about this is just fabulous, and then it does it again with something completely different, and it is gosh darn marvelous. I mean, who knew that you had an orange period?
Yeah, who knew? I'll have to these pictures you've made of me. These were before I had the goatee, of course. This was when I was younger. I'm 62 right now, but to me, these images, I never looked this good. I never looked as good as I do in these images.
And
Even when I was younger, I didn't look this good.
Oh, well, you know, who cares about that? Who cares about that? But at one point, when you had a job down on the wharf, you know, you still did look pretty good. I have photographic evidence that you look much better than you say, because here it's clearly you're very well dressed. I mean, look, nice tie, brown collar. I mean, this guy, he cares about what he looks like. He's not some guy that is rolled out of the underpass under the 110 freeway at Alondra or anything like that.
I definitely, after seeing these photos, might want to consider a new wardrobe. Now that I see that I could potentially look a whole lot better.
You see,
but I've always been kind of a jeans and t-shirt kind of guy.
I think Hugo Boss suddenly owes me money from your sales.
Exactly.
But yeah, I mean, these are marvelous. I mean, these are gosh darn marvelous.
I like these cowboy ones. I mean, these all look really great.
The pirate ones, so just look completely awesome. This one was done off of what I call the Customer Care Crusader.
Okay.
Which puts you in a retail. This essentially is you're in settings with where you would be in a high-end retail. And so that's what has created this. What I find really especially remarkable about this one right here, Tim, is the backlighting that it has some. Yeah. It's understood that this makes a great image is when there's light on somebody's shoulder like that. It just makes you look manageable. I mean, this is what you would look like, Tim, if you had hair, lighting, and makeup following you around everywhere.
I guess so. Maybe that's what I need. But
I need the same. I need the same. I mean, look at me. Just look at me, would you? I'm sorry. Don't look at me. I don't want to.
But getting back to our topic.
Yes.
Getting back to our topic. You know, you said if it makes you feel something, then it's art. And I agree with you.
Yeah.
If the art makes you feel something, then it is art to you.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Like I said about Jackson Pollock, he's not my jam.
Yep, he's somebody's jam.
That's great. More power to you. He's no less art just because he's not my jam. And what the monetary value of art is decided by the individual. If a painting is worth $10,000, it's because someone's willing to pay for it. Now, with AI, though, like you said, it's a very different thing, because I could take your prompts and put them in another AI system or the same one and probably get a completely different image back.
Absolutely. Completely different image. I mean, this will be something different. So, yeah, essentially, I don't think there's any value to copyright. No. There's no secret that you're holding back.
Be copyrightable or prompts because it's the English language.
Exactly. There's no secret that you're sitting on top of that you can hold hostage from the rest of the world. You know, by having. But if you do something with that art, then that should be able to be copyrighted. So if you take and you generate a graphic novel, and
with a story.
A story, and then even if you had ChatGPT, flesh out your story, or if you edited it, and then it's still kind of you. It's still you.
I have created some AI art by just simply saying things like, "I am not happy with life." And just seeing what image it brought back to me. 100 other people could say that same thing and get a totally different picture back.
So, Tim, like on this particular one, what you just said is actually dovetails right into the prompt that I used to create this one with the tattoos. This is off an Offspring song, "Pretty Fly for a White Guy." The lyrics go, he's getting a tattoo, he's getting it done. He asked for a 13, but they drew a 31. Friends say he's trying too hard, and he's not quite hip, but in his own mind, he's the dopest trip.
Oh, yeah. I like that song a lot.
I love that song.
I've never had tattoos either, and I don't think I've ever had quite that level of muscle.
You know what? This is the photo says that you did. What am I supposed to believe? Your plaintive mewlings? Your protestations of, oh no, I'm not that sexy. No, oh no. Oh no, but yes,
But,
you are
well,
a
maybe
sexy
it's just
beast.
how I see myself. But you know something? I'll tell you something, Ken. There are a lot of people who, if you did this for them, you know, they sent you a photo and you created all these amazing AI art pictures of them with different types of clothing on, like you've done with me. And I look at this and I say, well, I've never looked this good in my whole life, but thank you. Whereas other people would say, oh, that looks just like me. I love it. Because it's the way it's kind of, because when I look at these, I see a very idealized version of myself. It's not reality.
Yeah.
It's very
idealized. All of it, completely idealized. Yeah.
They would love that. They would love to have that. And I think there are people who would actually pay you to do that for them, to create idealized pictures of themselves so they can see, because, and to them, it wouldn't be idealized. It would be like, yeah, this is me.
And to me,
I think it would feed. I think there are a lot of people whose egos you could feed into and make quite a bit of money with.
Well, I need to be introduced. I would, you know, from your lips to God's ears, I need to be introduced to these people, young Tim. Young Tim, you need to get me on their calendar.
It's you know, yeah. I think there's a lot of people who out there who would gladly pay you to create idealized photos of themselves. I don't say photos, but art of themselves. Because these are very photoreal, but they still look like art. They don't look like photos.
Well, they are art. That's the thing is that images that make people feel something is art. I mean, that's kind of what it is. But
yeah, I do think it's art. I think that there could be a very strong therapeutic value for, you know, people playing with these types of programs.
Tim, your insights have my wheels turning, and I'm sure the audience, our viewers, they're as excited as I am. Let's go ahead and shift gears here for a minute and talk about how they can join in and be a part of this journey. We're going to drop a pin here, and I promise you that I have more in the tank with TJR, the original. If you like what I've done here and you need to see me do more of it, you can help me out in a couple different ways. Like, share, subscribe, and comment on my videos. I know it seems small, but it'll mean the world to me. But if you're a real difference maker, head over onto Patreon. The link is in the description below. I cannot do it without you. Rathgar here, once again reminding you all, you be good! But if you cannot be good, don't be caught.